I've been chilling because the Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk card is boo boo, so I didn't want to do a review because it's boo boo. But I mean, I everybody watched the first fight, and honestly, I had to rewatch it, bro. Like it was not memorable very much at all, to be honest. So I mean, I watched it and I was like, you know what? I see the rematches this weekend. Yeah, the card is boo boo, but I mean, I'm gonna tune in out of curiosity. Now, here's my thing: the heavyweight division is not really cracking like that. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, they're good, but they've been good. Alexander Usyk is really, really good. But it sucks that he is a heavyweight because we'll never get to see him matched up against the better Bievs and the Bivels and stuff. You know what I mean? Like those are more his caliber of guy. Matter of fact, better Biev fought him in the amateurs a long time ago. And that was the only guy he really lost to, I think. I don't know if he lost to anybody else, but I know he lost to Usyk. But Usyk, he's on a different level. Heavyweights are not on the pound for pound list for a reason. When I watched this fight, it was size versus skill, obviously, right? But in the next fight, I think it's going to be more of the same. I think Usyk is going to step on. But I think Usyk is going to just have a different game plan. I think Usyk is going to. Here's what I'll say. Tyson Fury suffers from the same problems a lot of slick boxers suffer from. Their lack of a right hand, right? Now, he wasn't throwing it very much. He was getting pressed. But once Usyk started drowning in the middle rounds because he applied so much pressure early on. And then Tyson Fury caught him with a few right hand uppercuts, a few like right hand, stumbled him. But then after that, Usyk got back to doing what he does. And the thing about Tyson Fury is that he's all about that lead hand. You know what I mean? Jabbing, left hooking, and ducking, and moving, and slipping and stuff. For a big guy, he has great movement. But if you don't have a right hand, you aren't complete. If you don't have crispy 1-2s on angles and stuff like consistently, though. But the way that you're not going to be able to be elite. And Tyson Fury's biggest problem is the fact that, and a lot of slick boxers, is their lack of a 1-2. So when you focus too much on that movement, you find yourself in the corner. And you put yourself in positions where it's harder for you to punch because your turn pretty much, how do I say? What's the word? Not flat, but you're bladed. You're pretty much bladed and you're turning and making a miss, but you're not in a position to make them pay. And that's honestly going to be one of the biggest things I'm gonna wonder with Tyson Fury. Is he going to eventually square up? Make him miss and make him pay, even though, yeah, he's bigger, but is he eventually going to square up and take the fight to him, stand his ground, or is he going to keep on moving from corner to corner and kind of getting socked out, but having his moments? I never really thought Tyson Fury was that elite. But they propped him up to be because the heavyweight division, to be honest, is just not cracking right now. Anthony Joshua fell off. I mean, you got Daniel Dubois. He's nice. You know what I mean? You do got a few but the heavyweight division is getting smaller and it is getting more skillful. You know what I mean? Guys are moving up 220s. You're not really seeing you're seeing Bacoli, but most of these guys are like between 220 and maybe like 240, 250, like manageable, basically built like linebackers, less like 6'5", 6'6" ass niggas. I mean, yeah, there's some big bodies, but you know what I mean though. The division is getting smaller, even though they are heavyweights. But it's getting smaller and more skillful. But anyways, I think that Usyk is going to come into the fight. I think that he's not going to press so early. In the last fight, he was on the gas the whole beginning of the fight. And he was cracking Tyson Fury, but it was just too early. Dude was too resilient. You know what I mean? He has to take his time and break him down and make him box. And I think that if he makes him box, he can actually get the knockout. Because Usyk is a better boxer than Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is huge, so he tried to close that gap and press him in the corner and make him to where his big ass is a stationary target. But in doing that, he made himself so tired he got caught with a big shot, and that was dangerous for him because Tyson Fury is a big dude, man. He's huge. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll be 6'6", 6'8", something bit, something like that. He's really tall, really tall. So Usyk has to be very careful. But if he does make him box, if he's able to take his jab away, if he's able to keep Tyson Fury in no man's land and less like necessarily not necessarily smother his work, but just keep him more in no man's land, he'll be able to have he'll have a lot more success. Usyk will, because he's gonna have to make Tyson Fury fight and think, which, to be honest, is more, or excuse me, is that mid range area is very dangerous for those slick boxers, because their head movement, their foot movement, they take a lot of risks with that when they're trying to get away from punches, because everything is, they're trying to move their head so much. And I mean, he kind of was picking punches, but it's hard for you to pick punches when you aren't a little more square. You know what I mean? It's hard for you to stop shit that's coming your way when you're bladed. You know what I mean? You have to move. So if he's able to keep the fight at mid range, you know what I mean, apply just enough pressure to keep Tyson Fury in and out of no man's land, so he can land his shots and get out. He can catch him in between shots, or he can catch him with something he doesn't see in between moves. He could trap Tyson Fury and run him into a big shot, as opposed to cornering him, giving him the opportunity to brace. Even though, look, he won on the score. Look, he won. But I just saw some little things. I'm like, okay, if you want to get the knockout, he's gonna have to trap him. He's not necessarily a knockout artist, obviously, but I think he could have stopped Tyson Fury. He had him stumbling all over the ring at some points in the fight. Like, he had him hurt. I just think that when you press a guy too much, you give him the opportunity to brace, because he gets his back against the ropes. He gets to the corner. You give him the opportunity to brace for the shots that are coming and kind of cover up and use the rope-a-dope, you know what I mean? And he's real tall. He can lean back on them ropes, make you miss. So when you give him that opportunity, it's going to make it harder for you to get him out of there. And you might even punch yourself out a little bit. You know what I mean? So if he paces himself a little differently, he finds his spots a little bit later in the fight and starts pressing a little bit later, or even pressing maybe 2 rounds on and a round off, or a round on, you know, however you want to game plan it. You just got to have to space that out a little bit more. Tyson Fury wants to win. He's going to have to throw crispy 1-2s, but he's going to have to do it in a way to where he's not overcommitting on that 2. Because if he overcommits on that 2, you know a counter's coming from Usyk, bro. He's not going to let that slide. Especially being a southpaw guy, if he leans around and throws an overhand left, and you just miscalculate that 1-2 just a little bit, you can be nighty-night, man. You got to be careful. But those are my predictions for the fight. I think that Usyk takes this one again. I think he wins by decision. I think that Tyson Fury, he could get knocked out, but I don't know if Usyk is going to set him up for that, or if he's just going to press him again and just make it an easy night. Because if you press Tyson Fury, it's hard for him to get work off his back foot. Like, he can if you're moving with him, but if you're pressing him and pushing him back and you're landing, he's not really, you don't really have to worry about too much coming back from him, because he's not necessarily a knockout artist. He's not necessarily a counter puncher. He's a slick boxer. That's just what he does. If he can't get his jab going, if he can't get certain things going, then it'll be an easy night. With that being said, drop your predictions in the comments. Man, I'm gone.